There's a way to actually build confidence to date 10 out of 10 girls. I went from an insecure kid to a confident playboy by applying 3 simple steps, starting with understanding what confidence actually looks like. A while back I was at the club when I see a girl grabbing her coat. Instantly I think she's one of the hottest girls I've ever seen, and I'm in Sweden where there's a lot of hot girls. So without pausing for a second, I introduce myself to her and grab her snap. And since we're on the way out, we don't talk for more than a couple of seconds, so I know I gotta make a good impression on Snap. So on there, I send her a video message of me talking, and she sends one back. We talk about plans for the night, and we end up hanging out that next day. On that next hangout, I ended up going to her friend's pregame where everyone was hanging out, so I knew I had to not only win over her, but also all of her friends. So I showed up there on a mission. I went in there, introduced myself confidently to everybody, smiling, holding eye contact, had great conversations. When we went off on our own time, we were really holding serious eye contact, smiling, talking about great things. We're just having a really good time overall. And I knew I won her over, all because I confidently asserted myself from the second I met her to when I sent her that Snap video message, which most people probably wouldn't do, to when I showed up to a pregame all by myself, knowing absolutely nobody, and then winning over everyone there. But what actually showcases confidence? Well, it comes down to a few simple things. First and most important is you need to have eye contact. The stronger your eye contact is, the more confident people are gonna think you are. Next is gonna be smiling. When you're smiling, you're relaxed. When I'm not relaxed and I'm nervous, I'm never smiling. So smiling quickly shows people that you're having a good time. It brings up their mood as well. It's overall the second best thing that you need to do. Beyond that, you wanna have good posture, stand upright, don't be slouching, don't be like holding yourself in a very closed off position. You wanna be open, you wanna be receptive, moving your hands, maybe hands on your hips, something like that. But don't close yourself off and have bad posture. That's gonna really kill any confidence that you would have. And then lastly, it's gonna be your communicative style, being able to hold a conversation, having beliefs and opinions, but not like shoving them down people's throat, but just being someone who is confident in yourself and your thoughts and opinions, being very self-assured as a whole. And lastly, just going after the things you want. Like from that story, me just going up and introducing myself to her, sending her a video saying that let's hang out tonight, things like that. This is pretty much what confidence is gonna come down to if you had to boil it down to very simplistic things. But how do you actually develop this level of confidence? In high school, I was an absolute nervous wreck and terrified to be around girls. One time I got paired with an attractive girl to do a project, and I could barely hold eye contact or string a sentence together, and this was strictly platonic. I just had to do the work with her, and I was still a nervous wreck. This lasted all the way up until I was 19 years old and just found myself in a relationship by chance, and I was still super insecure, struggled to express myself in the relationship, and was overall just nervous and scared, and ended up losing that and was deeply, deeply heartbroken. That was my first love. And at this point in my life is when I knew I needed to make a change, because I felt such deep pain. And it wasn't just from that heartbreak, but from seeing a pattern of my life of being so scared of girls, something I wanted so badly. I wanted to be getting with hot girls. I wanted those things that I saw in the movies, that I saw guys on YouTube, on Instagram, dating these hot girls. And I was like, how are they doing it? I was like, I want that so badly, but I have no clue what to do. So after that breakup, I went all in on holistic self-improvement and changing my life for the better. So some of the things I did was I cut out instant gratification activities completely. Any single one that you can think of, I did not do it. And then I incorporated delayed gratification like reading, meditating, journaling. Those really helped me build my internal sense of confidence, which is important. But we're gonna come to the second part, which is the external confidence, which is how you express yourself within the world. So you can read all the books in the world and you can meditate thousands of hours, but if you're still afraid to go out and talk to a girl, the confidence hasn't really translated much into the real world. So I was also doing that. And that's a super important key to making this work, which is you need to be doing the things that scare you. So I'll give you an example. When I went to visit my friend from my hometown, I told him, we are going to compliment a girl today at the gym. It doesn't matter, it's not with any intentions, we're just doing it to push our comfort zone. We both agreed, this workout's coming to an end and we both haven't done our compliments. So I was like, fuck, I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna compliment someone, I don't care how stupid it sounds, I'm just gonna do it. And I go up to this lady who's got colorful shoes. She's like 40 years old, And then I tried saying it to her, but she couldn't hear me because of her music. So she took her music out and I said it again, and it just was a terrible delivery. It was so awkward. I was red in the face. But then after, I went into the car with my friend and we laughed about it, and I felt so good, and I actually felt relieved. And there was this pressure taken off of me. And I was just like, wow, this fear was completely imagined. Nothing bad happened. I feel good about myself for trying to spread positivity. Even if the delivery wasn't the best, I'm getting there. I'm in the right direction. And then this pattern persisted where I was constantly just doing whatever scared me. And I've done this now for years. So whenever I feel fear, especially in terms of building confidence with girls, I always act on it. The moment I feel fear is the moment I know something good is about to happen. A good conversation's about to come, or I'm gonna learn from a rejection and I'm gonna make a mistake that's gonna end up allowing me to get valuable knowledge and push me in the right direction. There's nothing to fear at all. And the only thing you need to do is act when you are scared. And this is so, so valuable. I cannot stress this enough. This is the only true way that you are gonna build true unshakable confidence, is by doing everything that scares you with girls. So for me, that was cold approaching. And I must have done hundreds and hundreds of sober cold approaches, let alone all the ones at bars and clubs. That must go into the thousands at this point. And this is why I'm so comfortable talking to girls, and I've got so much experience, and I can figure out what works best and give all this knowledge to you guys, is because I've been out there doing it for so long, and this was a really big challenge in my life that I had to overcome. And see, the thing is, if you think that just building your value as a man, working a job, making money, even if you start a successful business and you just ended up having millions in the bank, you're still not gonna have the confidence with girls that I have if you don't go through all these steps. It's so essential that you do this. This is not just gonna be replaced by becoming a millionaire, becoming jacked, because I was jacked that whole time. At 19, when I had that girlfriend, I pretty much had the same exact physique that I do now, yet I still lacked confidence because I didn't have that true internal self-belief that I could get girls, that I could start conversations, that I could do all the things that once scared me. So it's so important that you go through this phase and you really develop both senses of confidence, the internal and the external. Without both of them, you're going to struggle, and you need to really do both, and you're gonna notice how much your life changes. And something crazy happens when you start pushing your comfort zone and talking to more girls. So before that relationship I had at 19, I went and I moved to Florida with my family, and this was an unexpected move. I absolutely had no friends at all. I didn't know anyone, and I didn't know how I was gonna meet girls. I was on a dry streak for quite some time, and I wanted to change it. I'd never done cold approaching, so I thought it couldn't be that hard, right? So I went out to the mall, and I wanted to talk to girls. The first two girls that I saw, I went over and I waved, and I was like, hey, what's up? And they completely ignored me, and I was absolutely devastated and crushed. And I didn't talk to girls for the longest time, months on end, until I ended up going to a club and meeting that ex. But that was the worst thing I could have done, stopping after one bad experience. See, after the time when I built my confidence, that phase I went through that I just described, I went to Sweden for 5 weeks, and I had this newfound sense of confidence. I had both the internal and the external confidence built up to a good degree. I still had some work to do with the external, but this is where I applied it. And I went there knowing absolutely no one, a completely foreign country. I went out to the club all by myself, and it was the best experience of my life because I just put myself out there. I was making friends, talking to so many girls. I had learned so much about communication from the books that I read, and all of a sudden I absolutely cleaned up, and I got with 7 girls in 5 weeks. And for me, that was an absolute massive accomplishment that set me up for so much future success because of everything I did to get there. And this was one of the most transformational times of my life. And what you gotta understand is that you really wanna work until you can get the winner's effect going. See, the winner's effect basically states that once you start winning, you're gonna continue winning. It's like confidence is really just the memory of winning, but you really need to continue going until you build that memory of winning, until you get that first win. You have to just be tenacious. You just have to continue going after it through all the rejections, through the setbacks, continue building your value, continue learning. So if you're right now not in a stage where you're attracting girls, you need to be working in the gym. You need to be learning about communication. You need to be improving yourself in every way, shape, and form until you do get that success. And the winner's effect then takes over like it did for me in Sweden. And I was like, holy shit, my life is completely changed compared to when I just went to the mall and then got rejected. and was like, holy shit, this is the worst thing ever. And I let the loser's effect, basically the opposite, where I tried once, now this was the memory I had, and kind of it dictated my self-belief and my self-image a lot. And this really fucked me up big time. And that's not what you want to happen. You really need to keep persisting until you get that win, and then you can build off of it. And now you're building on the winner's effect, and things just start getting so much easier. But there's a lot of work you have to do in the process, and it might take some rejections. It might have some setbacks before you get there. That's a part of the process, but it's so important that you keep pushing your comfort zone. You keep striving to improve. And this is what's going to allow you to build your confidence the real way that no one can ever take away from you. So if you got any value from this video, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. On here, I'm going to be teaching you how to become attractive to girls and get the girl of your dreams. Now, if you want to work with me, then book a free coaching call down below. We're going to dive exactly into your dating life and give you tangible steps in order to improve it. So if that sounds of interest, go ahead and book that call now. I'm only taking on 3 new coaching clients this month. And then once I fill those slots, those free coaching calls stop as well. So book that in while you can. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys on there. Have a good one.